bloods, and he just, whatever he's got in there, he lets it out.
I really like the way that he recalled this, because he's like, my buddy obviously went to do some potentially shady shit because he came back and said, let's get drunk. By the way, I'm leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
That would be a huge red flag.
Yeah.
But at the same time...
And he wasn't going to take the money. Like it's all weird.
Right. Like, he didn't need it. He was just done. It reminded me so much of, and we were just talking about this the other day, South Park did a Lord of the Rings episode where the kids got a hold of this porno that their parents had rented, and Token, one of the friends, he watches the video and then he brings it back to the friends and he just gives it to him. He's like, I don't want to play this game anymore. I'm going to go home. And leaves. And that was it. It's like, I'm done with this. I'm out. You got it. You do whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah, I've seen some
I'm good.
stuff. That's all.
I've been changed.
And I mean, he does end up telling Milton that he didn't bury anybody. He dug him up. Yeah. It's the big twist of the chapter.
Which is to say that the palace paid him to dig people up.
Yes, nobody died. They brought dead bodies out of the ground.
That's called exhume, right?
Yes, I think, usually.
Okay, I know, like, dig them up is not the actual term that I think they use exhume. Though I don't know why, so I won't pretend to. I know it's a specific term.
I just didn't know if exhume had to do with, like, the process of doing it the right way, as opposed to somebody sloppily digging a body up. But, of course, this is a gravedigger, so he
just
would do it the
hucking
right
him
way.
over his shoulder, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Now, this whole idea creeps Milton out, but at the time, they were drunk and laughing their asses off about it, which, I mean, you can kind of relate to, because when you're drunk with your friend and you're talking about some fucked up stuff, you can laugh about stuff that in the daytime you're like, oh, that wasn't good.
We do it all the way through this podcast. We try to laugh as much as possible because there's a lot of dark shit, and sometimes you have to. But I can understand this because his buddy was leaving. This was the last day they were going to spend together. This was the last night of drunken revelry he was going to have with his best friend and coworker.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yes. I do that too.
Yeah, he'd be like, that was fucked up, man. We do some fucked up shit, but that was fucked up.
That was fucked up. Remember that time? It was one of those nights.
Yeah.
Where they told every story that they've ever shared together with each other and then went over this crazy thing and they're like, fuck, maybe it's good you're moving?
Yeah.
I don't know. We seem to get in trouble as long as we're together, so...
Well, all he said is that this job was for the palace. He didn't have, like, a name that he was working for or anything, not, like, a specific sister. And this happened around the winter solstice. So, like, a couple days after the winter solstice. So we know the timeline. We know everything that was going on around then. And the palace didn't specifically care who it was. It wasn't like they were trying to do, like, a investigation on a certain body or anything. They were like, I don't give a shit. Just bring me some bodies. They just had to be in clean winding sheets, which is specifically what we know that a certain couple bodies were wrapped in.
Okay, I was wondering about that. I thought so, but then I was like, no, they didn't have them wrapped up. They would have just had them laid out for everybody to see, but no, they didn't.
No.
They were all covered up.
Yeah, it specifically said that. It would make me a little bit curious why none of the sisters, like, maybe the excuse is that both of them had wasted away so much that it would be disrespectful to look on their faces the way they are at the end. But, like, yeah, I feel like some of the sisters would have been like, can't we see their faces? And, like, say goodbye?
I don't know. I feel like closed casket decisions happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Some people, I would be in this category. I don't want people looking at my dead body. Dude, I'm good. I have another plan for myself, the whole cremation thing. But that aside, it's weird to think about. Sometimes there's a horrible accident. Sometimes it has to do with the not the integrity, but the,
dignity of the person?
Dignity, thank you. The dignity of the person who's being put to rest. That, like, no, it's more respectful if you just don't look. So I could understand them being like, no, we're going to wrap them up It's kind of gruesome. He tried to save her. He couldn't. They both died in the process. It was brutal. We're good. But
Yeah.
if somebody who is the head of some giant place, like, okay, the president dies, and he's just secreted away, wrapped up, and then it's all taken care of, and you didn't even get one person to just glance at the body and be like, yes, he's actually dead. That would be a big fucking problem.
Yeah. And, okay, I don't know if we're like...
So I see both sides. I guess that's where I was coming from.
I don't know when I first read this book, when I realized exactly who we were talking about here. So I'm not sure if this would spoil it for the regular person, because we do kind of figure out by the end of the chapter, but she never, like, explicitly says what she thinks is going on. So hopefully we're not spoiling anything for anybody, but I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you're paying attention, you have a good idea of what has already taken place.
Mm-hmm.
As the chapter goes on, you get just a little bit more and a little bit more. As we'll see here in a bit, the questions start coming rapid fire, and it tells another story. One that we will get to right after we take care of this beer break. Because it is time. Jade, I'm going to ask you to review this one, because we got this beer because you love it. I'm not saying I don't love it.
Yeah.
I do now that I've had time to sip it and mull it around.
I appreciate it.
It's good.
Okay, so we went to Perrin again. Surprise! And we picked up some Turtle in a Palm Tree cans. These are 10%, okay? This is a stout with chocolate and caramel and coconut. This is one of the interactive brews that they did over, like, this past year, where they had people on their Facebook take polls on the website and stuff and, like, vote on what they wanted in there. And the name, and I think the person who ends up winning the name gets to come and help design the can, I believe, even.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Yeah, so it's cool. I like it. It's pretty good. It's smooth. You can taste most of the stuff in it. It's not too boozy, though.
No, it's really not bad. It's very, very smooth. I like it. I don't know. I feel like I tried it before and I wasn't crazy about it, but I'm having it now and it's great. You know, when we were there, I think I had it on tap and maybe I didn't like it as much.
That could be.
But I've got no complaints now. My only complaint is that turtles can't get into trees.
Well,
can they?
I mean, they're playing, what's it called? The cornhole on there, so maybe someone just chucked the turtle. But, you know, to be fair, when they're drinking, you're drinking a lot of other flavors, so it may just have been a little bit muddy.
Something I had beforehand. If I think if I had something fruity beforehand, that might have affected it in a bad way.
Yeah.
But I can't honestly remember, so who knows?
But yeah, so it's pretty cool, and I like it, and you should try it if you can. And we'll be back right after this.
And we are back. So Verna, after hearing Milton's story, says, you know, maybe your buddy was lying. And Milton says, there's no fucking way he was lying. He doesn't make up stories, and I remember exactly what he said because it was our last night together. I was drunk, but I was paying attention. But apparently he was told to wait a few weeks to submit the tally, as the palace was, you know, super busy.
Which is weird. Like,
very.
He was told specifically to wait long enough to where she would have enough time to focus on this, almost.
Maybe until a certain event took place, mayhaps. Ham had put the bodies in a cart to bring them to the palace and was given a special pass so that nobody would look at his load. Ha. Sorry. He also had to wear really nice clothes so he didn't look like a gravedigger and freak people out. Now, I get, does a gravedigger dress a certain way? Because there are poor people who could show up with a cart and be like, hey, I'm trying to sell some stuff so I can have money and not be poor. Or is there, like, I don't know, maybe they do their job at night so they're really pale? What gives?
Well, in the movies, they're always wearing, like, a hat and a long sleeve shirt and overalls and boots and gloves.
Well, that might actually mean that they're in the sun all day digging graves. They got to have the big hat to keep the sun off their face and their shoulders or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what this guy's tell was, or if people just knew
that
who
he was a
from
gravedigger.
town. Yeah,
like that's the only thing that they said. That's why Milton can't go see Jala, or like he could, but he makes people uncomfortable because
people don't want him there.
Yeah, because he reminds people of death, so he doesn't go. So I think maybe something like that. People just recognize him.
Well, according to this train of thought, just take a shower.
Yeah, maybe
put
they just
on
smell
some
bad.
deodorant. Dress up a little bit nicer. Like, it doesn't sound like this is a man of means at all. But,
No.
like, you got steady work. You just got a nice gold coin. Maybe you could go check out a game. Just saying.
Yeah, just change your clothes, apparently. He didn't have to, like... maybe he just Clark Kented it. He put on a pair of glasses, so nobody recognizes him.
Oh my god, who are you? I've never seen you before, even though I just checked your ID. Anyways, Milton says that there were two bodies. One was small, and one was a really big guy. This is what I was talking about earlier. The palace tells him, look, we don't care who they are, except that one has to be kind of small, and one has to be big, and the small one has to be a female, and the big one has to be a guy, and they need to be about this size and wrapped this certain specific way. You need to put deodorant on and dress up, bring your cart to the palace. Like,
Yeah.
they weren't specific at all, and then they were very, very specific.
Yeah, no, I thought that was funny too. They started out by being like, nope, there were no extra details, but then the farther he gets, he's like, yeah, there were a lot of instructions, man.
And you start understanding why they obviously didn't ask. This was an offered job, so like, hey, we'll pay you X amount if you do this thing for us. But when Verna is looking at the tally and is like, man, they're really proud of their work. Like, yeah, they had to do a lot of bullshit to do this.
Yeah, they paid them a lot for good reason.
If you ask me, we weren't paid quite enough. I'm gonna need another silver on top of that gold there, Vern.
Approve the fucking bill, okay? How about that?
But once this is revealed, Verna starts putting some things together and getting mad about it.
She's got her little fist balled up while she's talking to him all mad.
Be like, hey, before you get upset, could we get outside so you don't accidentally burn me with another piece of hot steel or my, place of business down with your rage?
Yeah.
Please?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to piss you off, lady.
But Verna, being wise, that we know she is, she just thanks him for all of his help and then goes to leave. But before she does that, Milton asks for the creator's blessing, since he's never, really gone up to the palace, because the deodorant thing, I'm assuming. But he's never gotten a blessing, and he wants one. So Verna gives him this blessing. As she does this, she, erases his mind of both this visit and the conversation that he had with Ham about what he did for the palace.
Yeah, he knows he did a job, but he doesn't know any details about it now.
Right. Now, the story that he told her initially is true to him. But I also thought it was funny because we have Verna in these last couple of chapters going back and forth about how she doesn't really deserve to be the prelate. And, there's a couple things about the prophecy that we've heard about that makes her really doubt her being the prelate. And she does kind of say a few times, I don't feel like I want to pray, but the prelate is supposed to be close to the creator, so let's give it a shot. Kind of like she doesn't feel like she's in the role herself.
Yeah.
And yet, she's giving blessings and stuff. And to this guy, this is the greatest thing ever, because this is all he really wanted. He wanted a blessing.
Rapturous.
Yeah.
But I also find it funny that she's giving this blessing, but she's using it as a tool to, it's not a pure blessing of the creator. She's using it for her own means. You know what I mean?
She's erasing his brain, and then he's still going to be like, damn it, she left before I got my blessing. What the hell? I was going to ask her about that.
Yeah, so I do find that because yes, she's doing the creator's goodwill, but she's also not really doing it for the creator. She's using it for her own benefit.
Yeah,
so
there are ulterior motives here. Once outside, she is in a rage. I'm mad! Rawr!
Stop!
Yeah. She's talking about strangling someone, and Warren is like, hey, whoa, what the fuck happened? She lashes out at Warren saying, hey, don't talk to me right now. I have